Tell me if this ever happened to you. You set a huge new goal for yourself, got really excited about the outcome, built it up in your mind, and then when it came to actually implementing it, nothing happened. So in today's episode, I'm going to share with you a few of the fighting strategies that I developed in my time as a professional athlete, and that I only later found out how incredibly helpful they are in any challenge in life. As a fighter, no matter if I'm ahead or if I'm behind, if I'm leading the fight or if I'm getting beaten up, I always try to do whatever I can and whatever the best move at that time is. And that's exactly what my last coach, John Kavanagh, once told me. Don't think about the outcome. Think about only the next step you can take at any time. Now, while this attitude doesn't always work out perfectly, it still was responsible for some of the best things that happened in my life. So why am I telling you this when you're not a fighter? Because I think that you can take this fighting attitude and apply it to a lot of challenges in your own life. So before going into any fight, I was not thinking about winning or losing, but just about giving it everything I can. And that in its essence is process orientation. It shifts your perspective to get a lot more out of your life. But when it came to everyday stuff, like work projects, I personally struggled a lot with this. So the bigger the challenges in my work, the more I would focus on that mountain in front of me and I would build it up bigger and bigger in my mind. Why is orientation on the process so important rather than on that big end goal? There are cases where it might be the other way around, like when cleaning up. It might be a good idea to just focus on what you want to get out in the end, like a clean apartment. You just want to have a clean apartment, and that's pretty simple. But when it comes to tasks that are really difficult and scary, just having a clear outcome in mind and only focusing on that might actually be making it harder for yourself. Meaning, the higher your challenges are, the more you need to be focused on the process. So what's wrong with having that end goal in mind and using it as your motivation? Let's say your goal is to be a massive entrepreneur and have a huge business, like shooting rockets to Mars. So the main problem here is that there's a huge disconnect between what your end goal is, how you fantasize about it, and what it actually feels like to sit down, really concentrated, without distractions, and go about the next best step that will actually get you one step further in your project. Fantasizing about all the great things you can do feels great. It makes you get into this dream state where you think one day you'll make a huge impact and the sky's the limit and you can achieve anything. But then actually doing the first step, taking the first step, is exhausting, sometimes boring, and more often than not, it isn't very fun. And especially if you have people not getting what you want from them and they keep annoying you with little problems. You have to look at yourself right now in your current state. What is that state compared to where you want to get to, your desired state? And the larger that gap is, the more you have to look out for not becoming too obsessed with your goal state, because the discrepancy, the disconnect between where you are and where you want to get to might just be too far apart. When you look at your goal, it seems so far away that everything you can think about is that you're probably going to fail.
Okay, this is bad. Potentially bad.
So don't ever let your goal get too far away. And how can you make sure this doesn't happen? Let's have a look at one of the most fundamental theories about motivation and goal achievement in psychology, the Rubicon Model of action phases. Its name comes from the tale of Caesar crossing the Rubicon River, a point of no return. By crossing it, he openly showed his intentions of invasion. And that again started off the Roman Civil War, which ultimately led to Caesar becoming an almighty dictator, creating the imperial Rome. Now, while I'm not suggesting you should learn how to become an almighty emperor, there might still be a very valuable takeaway for you in this. According to the Rubicon model, every action includes such a point of no return, at which the individual moves from goal setting to goal striving. Michael Rauber, in his paper Non-Cognitive Skills and Success in Life, points at a quote that shows how essential it is to dare to cross this Rubicon. Once subjects move from planning and goal setting to the implementation of plans, they cross a metaphorical Rubicon. That is, their goals are typically protected and fostered by self-regulatory activity rather than reconsidered or changed, often even when challenged. Meaning, you should decide well about your goals, but the deciding point will always be to move to concrete implementation phase and do that as early as possible. Once you start learning how to cross the Rubicon at any given point of time, you'll start loving the fight. You start jumping into the grind and focus on the little things right in front of you. When I'm in a fight, I use a jab, jab, jab to set up the win with my right cross. And the same goes for you in life. Focus on the jabs, put in the consistent work, and the opening for the right cross will come automatically without you even noticing that you pulled the trigger and made your goal a reality, because you were so immersed in the process. Am I saying that having big goals is bad? No, absolutely not. So goals are super important to have as a compass, leading you in the right direction. You need to take a good look at it and always have your direction in mind. And whenever you forget the direction, look at it again, look at your goals. But in the day-to-day struggle of actually doing the thing, you'll still have to hoist the sail yourself. And if it gets tough, don't be afraid of putting the work in, having fun at the same time, and just pushing through. So what's the takeaway for today? Don't worry about the end result too much. Anticipating that you might get knocked down will hold you back much more than actually getting knocked down from time to time, and then actually being able to quickly pull yourself back together. How Chogyam Trungpa has realized in his basic handbook of Buddhist meditation, the path is the goal. So keep focused on what you can get done today and don't worry too much about failing or that huge goal. Stay focused on the process and good things will come to you. If you had fun watching this video and got some value out of it, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscription button, give the video a like, and see you next week.